everyone. Welcome to another episode on the Goddess Cave. Thank you guys so much for your support and tuning in to another episode. I hope this is helping you. If you have any ways of questions, you can DM me on my social media at the Goddess Cave on Instagram, and you can feel free to DM me. We can have another way to connect. As far as my personal Instagram, it is evolving. On Instagram, it's always going to be linked into my Instagram page for this podcast as well. I hope you guys are having fun in season 3, and let's continue on. So for today, I want to talk about overthinking. This quote, to me, it helps me when it comes to overthinking. It's because if you're a person like me and you overthink, then you always have a question within a question, and it just is continual mental torture about, getting to the bottom of the humanity, having that hopefulness, which makes the heart sick, as we all know. And sometimes some people are really just given over to a reprobate mind, and their hope of becoming better is just nothing that you will be able to witness. It's unfortunate, but, that's just the way that life is. And then some people, one thing that I've learned is, if you lean on someone, you may chip that person's shoulder. You may not want to, but it's just what comes with life. We all have somewhat of an imprint that we leave on each person that we end up meeting in life. And at the end of the day, if that was your case and it was unintentional to hurt someone's feelings, you can't hold yourself to someone saying that you hurt them if you know deep down that it wasn't intentional. Meaning, like I said, I can give you guys an example where it was a person I've known for years, and basically the perspective that I had about the relationship just changed. And I guess basically viewed the person as a genuine person to talk to. Now, the other person still had feelings in the game, and it wasn't that I didn't care about the person. It's just that I didn't think it was fair for me to continually talk to you on an everyday basis or continue to check up, because I don't want to block your blessings of finding the person that's for you. Or, if I'm talking to you about my relationships that I go through, or, advice about someone who I might meet, and you still have feelings towards me, it won't be a genuine connection. And I noticed that. So I said, you know what? It was a continual, take a break, but check in type of thing. But that person always brought his feelings back up. So it was hard. And I felt guilty, because it's like, okay, I'm confused because you're telling me you can be here for me. But at the end of the day, I have to be honest with myself and say, you know what? If this person truly still cares for you in that way, and you're not on that same page, you have to let the person go, because you're blocking both of you guys' blessings, and you don't want to just be messing with someone's heart. But like I said, I didn't intentionally mean to chip this person's shoulder, because I had to apologize. I apologize every single time, I'm getting confused because you're saying you're here for me, but now here you're trying to drop all these emotions on me, and I don't know how to take this, so we just have to part ways. But, people stay in contact with each other, check up on each other, and then they always just go back to the same thing. So like I said, you may have that relationship with someone where you might really think that they're a genuine friend, and then you might hurt their feelings, and then it's like, well, I've apologized, and you won't accept my apology. You know what I'm saying? And it's because you left an imprint on them that you guys are no longer on the same page, because they're wanting what they want, and that's just how life goes. But if you just go ahead and try to apologize and move forward, at least in your heart that you rectified the situation. But I had almost kind of tortured myself in a sense of saying, well, Ebony, why would you do that? This and that and this and that. But, you can't help those situations. So with this quote that I found, it says that life is a twisted teacher, because it will give you the test first and the lesson after. So when I use that in context, just meeting people in general, where you may say you will never do this to someone, You know what I'm saying? And it ends up getting done to you. And then you notice, like, wait a minute, in what ways have I done that to other people? So that was a situation that I came out of, and you can't help it if you're trying to have a genuine connection with someone, but they just want what they want. And now they turning you out to be the bad guy type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. You can hope that we can all come to a medium of, rectifying relationships and just keep moving forward, but that's not always the case. But you can't keep torturing yourself if you apologize for something. And a genuine apology. That's when you can no longer torture yourself. So, with tools that I found, I actually did this, I think last month. This is currently January. I think I actually did this in November or December, actually. I started it, but I did not finish. That's how life goes sometimes. But basically, I just got this jar from the Dollar Tree. And I went and I found some cute quotes or whatever. They're scriptures. And basically, this is my personal love jar. Okay? So, basically, what I did was I just took some, what are these? Postage notes. And I wrote letters on them. So, like, affirmations or just anything that I feel that would keep my hopes up or, just give me a change whenever I'm down in the dumps. It's been out of sight, out of mind, but I plan to start using this because I saw it today. So that's what kind of made me implement this into this episode. But basically, I just got this jar from the Dollar Tree. And I also purchased these postages or post notes from the Dollar Tree and then these stickers. And I put them on here. And then I just did them all different colors just to give me a little bit of, excitement, I guess. And I wrote a little heart on there. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll try to zoom in. But on this one, I wrote, I will not settle for less than the best from myself or others. And I actually need to hear that today. So, this is just something to help you along the way, because with the reason why I'm glad I actually told you guys that story is because when you're trying to find things to help you get out of your overthinking, more than likely it will be a person, okay? And like I said, you may genuinely just be trying to find a way to release yourself of your burden of overthinking. But if someone else's mental state is at stake from you trying to help yourself, that's when it's not okay. Because, like I said, leaning on someone else's shoulder could chip. Which is why I say emotional dumping is not good. You can't help having control over things. And that's the other thing. When you overthink, for myself, I can only tell you guys from my perspective and what things that I've gone through. Overthinking just comes from, for me, a lack of control over a situation. Because you're trying to find clarity the best that you can, but you can't. Because it's out of your control. The definition of overthinking is think about something too much for too long. That's me all day. It could be the simplest thing from, has anybody ever done this where you smiled at someone or you made a face at somebody gets out and you didn't really mean to, something else was on your mind, and now you're thinking like, dang, did I make that person feel some type of way because you caught their, reaction towards your face, you know what I'm saying? Those things will stick with me all day. Like, dang, I wonder the next time they're going to be thinking about me a certain way. If there's so many different things, okay, so like for this example, moving from my parents' house, it's basically overthinking just triggers, okay? Because moving from my parents' house, hearing one thing, and then you go back and you're witnessing something totally different from what you grew up with. It's like, well, dang, was I the problem? Was this and that? No one said anything foul to me. No one's asked me any questions to make me feel this way. It's just how my brain is going. So it's not finding your own closure within situations leads to overthinking for myself. So what you want to do is find healthy tools like this to get your mind off of things and find your own closure. Another thing, like I said, is journaling. That's been helping me tremendously. Because also, when you're talking to people, when you're going through your phases of overthinking, know that 10 times out of 10, you have your own thoughts to deal with. You're going to get someone else's thoughts that may not have even aligned with what you were even thinking about. Just gave you a whole new door to open up and compare and contrast what has happened. So let's say you and Sally went to the mall, right? And you met up with one of your old friends. And you're thinking in your head already, like I said, dang, I looked at that person kind of crazy. Like, I don't think they're going to like me anymore because I looked at them crazy, but I didn't really mean to. Now, your friend Sally says, well, I don't know, because sometimes you do that, but I don't think that person really took it that way. I wouldn't think about it so much, That person sometimes just is like that. Sometimes they just make faces at people that they don't really know. And now all these other ideas are coming in your head that are so unnecessary. And it's like, well, now I have 10 other things to try to figure out this one thing with that I was already dealing with 100. So now you're at 110 thoughts for no reason. So a lot of times it's best to keep your thoughts limited, meaning your own. So getting a therapist can help you dissect your own thoughts. Because that's the one thing I can't do is have someone else's thoughts in there with mine. Because they're not you. They don't know what you're really dealing with. They don't know the actual core of why you're even going through these thought processes in the first place. Overthinking can happen in so many different areas. Like I said, it can happen from, did I smile at that person too hard? You know what I'm saying? Or insecurities that you have that you're just always going to be on the lookout to see if someone else is noticing them. And it's just so many things that's just unnecessary. Everyone does it, of course, but some people do it more than others. And overthinking can quickly put you in a rabbit hole, and now you're just going all day. And that is how I got into tarot. That is how I got into tarot, because I was trying to find a way to stop me from drawing conclusions that were unnecessary. And tarot, for me, made it worse, because I'm already, like I said, I already have my own thoughts. And now you're giving me your own thoughts about a situation that you can't even really tell me about, because this is a general tarot reading. And now I'm all over the place. You've taken my own emotions and manipulate them in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So if I know I'm the type of person who always wants to see the best in someone, right? And then the tarot person says, well, this person really does understand you, but they just have their own problems and it has nothing to do with you. I know that already. But now, instead of me just taking the truth that I know, or the somewhat of a revelation that I had, you making me think 10 times, well, what could this person really be going through? Well, what did I say that could have triggered them? You know what I'm saying? It's not okay. That is torture. That is torture. Don't keep torturing yourself. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's so many things that we have to be concerned about on a regular day basis. You know what I'm saying? That you and your thoughts, you got to get them under control. Because then you're building up all these scenarios. Have you ever been in the car just driving, or, and then all of a sudden you got a movie playing in your head and niggas be like, I've been telling myself, Ebony, be quiet. That's not happening. You have to be able to shut them down instantly. Especially when they serving you no purpose. It's one thing to replay a conversation that you had in your head, but to let your mind run rampant to put things in the conversation that never happened It's not okay. Because now you're not even focused on the facts at this point. You're in a fantasy in your head. Been there, did that all the time. Okay? I'm not sure if that stems from me being the only child, and kind of being, in a sense, forced to just tend to my own thoughts a lot. But I'm working through that with therapy, but I guess it's not beneficial to you at all. All it does is make the situation worse. Because now you got 6 narratives playing in your head, and you don't know really which one. You're getting even more confused because now you don't even know which one that you were trying to get in the first place. It's not okay. Overthinking is mental torture, and I think that's one of the easiest ways for you to slip into backsliding. One of the easiest ways to go back on your word. One of the easiest ways to try to, I don't know. I feel like overthinking and seeing the best in each person and being a really big empath is the hardest thing for a person to deal with, because that is my situation. Because empathy makes you always want to consider someone else's feelings, of course. Overthinking makes you put up all these different scenarios. So now you can't be true to yourself because it's like, well, I know I should hold this standard for myself, but they just don't know how to do this. And that's not their fault. They didn't ask for what to happen to them to happen to them. That's not your responsibility. So now your overthinking has brought you to a place that you never were supposed to be in the first place. And I feel like there isn't a certain sex that has it more than others. I know that women, we are typically more mentally stimulated than men when it comes to, because just the way that, life brought us up in this fantasy world, as far as romantic things, and family-based things, where men is more so logic, but they do still fantasize about things. It just may not be as deep as women. We have to be deep as women because we have to nurture and carry a child. How can you not have that sense of, some women don't. How can you not have that and have to have a whole child? How do you connect with your child? You know what I'm saying? That's what sucks about being a woman. And you just gotta figure that junk out. I'm preaching to the choir right now. I have to figure this out. Because now you've lost your focus in so many ways. You can't stay focused properly. You waste time just sitting and I'm telling you, sometimes I'll think about something and I done sat down for a whole 20 minutes thinking about it, different scenarios, and now I have to take time away from what I was supposed to do in the first place to go find a motivational speaker to talk me out of it. So I've been but I've spent a whole hour on putting myself somewhere where I did not need to be. So you're constantly in rehab mode. Constantly. You know how exhausting that is? Being in rehab. It's like, dang, can I get this over with already? But you always there. Like, can I get this over with? I'm tired of stretching this leg. I feel like I can walk now. You told me I can walk now. You said I can come back in 2 weeks, and here I come right back. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on now. It's not okay. It really is not. But the biggest thing is being self-aware out of everything. Everything always falls back down to being self-aware. Are you understanding that you have an overthinking problem? It's not nothing, that it could be triggered from anxiety. You just have to you have to be able to analyze your life and figure out what is really happening to me. What is going on? You know what I'm saying? It's not that you're crazy. It's not that, I don't know. It's just who you are at this current state in your life. But that doesn't mean that you always have to live with this. But sometimes, like you finally got to get that tooth pulled. You got to go through with it. You got to go through the motions of it fully and understand, all right, Now that I know how to stop me at this point, you know? And that's the biggest thing. You have to be able to say, Ebony, that's enough. And then you get calm. Getting your source from a higher power of saying, I don't have the strength for me to just stop my overthinking by myself. I don't have that, you know? So I hope this episode can help you out. Overthinking is an everyday process. Some days it gets better. Some weeks it's like, I don't know, depending on what you might be going through at the time. Don't try to isolate yourself thinking that's going to solve your problems, because 10 times out of 10 is not. Silence is a good thing, but overthinking with silence is not. Meditate. Journal. You need silence to be able to hear your thoughts, to write them down, to channel them, but you have to, when you're getting silence or you're trying to spend some time alone, make sure that you're putting those thoughts onto something else. Don't just sit there in it, because then you start, like I said, those scenarios. They done roll back the credits, and when you're rewinding this, okay, those credits ain't gonna come because you keep adding on different scenes. And it's not good. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. It's mental torture. And then you're trying to find all these other things to get you away from it, when you just got to tell yourself to stop. Let's figure this out. How did this start happening to me? What triggered me to get to this place? What did I really see? What conversation really happened? You know? Am I in a defense mode to where I got to figure out prematurely if someone's going to be mad at me about something? You know? Can I let it go? At this very point, can I forgive myself? What can I do to ease the pain? Do I need to have a conversation with someone? Do I need to write them a letter? Do I need to pray to God? What do I need to do to get a relief right now? So thank you guys for tuning into this episode. If anyone needs any other tips about how to overcome their overthinking, like I said, this here is a small thing to kind of shift your course. A little mental note, you know. Journaling for sure can do it. And let's go ahead and put in the comments if you have anything that you do, so we can share with each other, so we can help each other grow. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. I will see you in the next.